This video is sponsored by my favorite website creator, Squarespace, the best place to go when you want to get a domain or create a beautiful website or an online store. Autumn, my favorite time of year. This right now. Is there anything crisper and more wholesome than an autumnal fresh start? And as usual, I'm doing my seasonal overhaul, like everything must go, a clean slate. Just like every January, I do like coming back to work after my summer or Christmas break to a sort of mental reset. And this autumn, even more so than usual, I would say. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way, that there's no better time than autumn to modify and recalibrate the way we look at our lives, ourselves, our work, health, relationships, or whatever else. So I have done just that, sat down, pen and paper, and taken stock. And of course, I'm sharing my thoughts with you. So first of all, I already know this autumn will be a hectic one from a work perspective. There's not much I can do about that, so I've taken that into account and will try my very best to offset that stress from busy upcoming work periods as best as I can. For instance, David and I are taking a 3-week trip to the US in early October for the US publication of What a Time to Be Alive, and a 1-week book tour in Germany in November, which will be full on but so fun. And I really hope that I will see you there, either in the US or in Germany. I'll put some dates for you here to see, so please come and say hi to me and give me a hug or a high five if you're around. I would so love to meet you in person, as many of you as possible. And just a parenthesis here, did you see who is interviewing me at my New York event on October 10th? Yes, that's Katie Kitamura, just one of my very top favorite authors. I can't believe that, what is this life? Anyway, sorry for the sidetrack. I was talking about it being a hectic autumn anyway, and hectic is so not what I need. I need the opposite. So if you saw my video earlier this summer about the news that I've finished writing my 3rd novel in July, a novel that I started writing in October the year before, at the same time as doing, all the UK and Spanish publication stuff around What a Time to Be Alive this spring and summer, not to mention creating videos for YouTube as well. You can see that this last year has been quite mad for me. I really wanted to finish the book this summer to be able to sell it this autumn. So that's where I'm at now. My book is being passed around to different publishers internationally to see if anyone, please God, wants to buy it. So I will hopefully have some updates on that soon. But as you can imagine, it's a highly stressful thing, having written this book, spent thousands of hours on it, for it to be passed around as a product to be bought. Nerve-wracking is an understatement. So to try to have a good, solid, nice, calm, friendly, pleasant, healthy autumn in the midst of this chaos, David and I did what we always do after our summer or winter break. We had our full-day, biannual, humongous life meeting. I mentioned this biannual meeting we do in a previous video, and so many of you asked about it, what it entails and how it's structured. So I'm thinking I could do a video specifically about that in case some of you want to jump on this train with us and have a meeting like this yourself, which of course you can do by yourself, all solo, no partner needed. So in a week or two, I should have a video like that up if you want to keep your eyes peeled, etc. So I will go deeper into what we came up with in that meeting in my next video. But to summarize, I have to say that this time our meeting was much, much less about plotting and scheming these brilliant and genius level plans for taking over the world. Usually these meetings is where we flash big bright ideas for our career. But you know what? This year we both felt that we're kind of on track career-wise, in the sense that we want to follow through the projects that we've started rather than embarking on any new big career adventures. Instead, this year we more discussed ways of holding on, keeping at it, without losing the calm and parasympathetic brains that we've managed to wind down to during our summer break. Because let me tell you, this summer, I was able to wind down more than in years. Honestly, I've just been so pleasantly insouciant and carefree this summer, which started with our 2.5-week Sweden trip, but it has then just spilled over to coming home and getting back to work as well. In fact, my Sweden serenity has been so world-alteringly pleasurable that I now feel that I'm highly protective of it. I'm scared of this autumn's hectics, that they will ruin it and make me rile up to high tension nervousness again. And I feel you know what? I worked so hard this last year to get to this point. I've worked so incredibly much that I deserve to take things slower. I deserve this like sweetened serenity. So let me like do my best to protect it. Here's what I'm thinking for this autumn's like mental reset. First of all, I think that focusing on health, like my overall well-being, is the key to keeping this cool. At least for me, it's always the key to shift focus from work being the top priority to having health take that top priority spot. For me, that means two things: gaining strength and lowering cortisol. That's it, the only two things I'm worrying about this autumn. Lowering cortisol and other stress hormones speaks for itself. Like, stressing down is just the most efficient and holistic way of taking care of our health, both like physically and mentally. That I firmly believe. It spills over onto everything else, like sleep, energy levels, digestion, stress tolerance, training and recovery, inflammation, everything. Building strength is perhaps less straightforward why I'm focusing so hard on, but it has more to do with like long-term effects than the here and now effects of stressing down. So basically, I want to set myself up for health long-term. And the older we get, as soon as we hit 30 really, it gets harder and harder to build and maintain muscles. So the sooner we start, the easier time we will have in our 40s, 50s, 80s, 90s, etc. Like, strength makes us more robust, helps with bone density and prevents injuries and, like regular bodily wear and tear, especially if we spend a lot of our day sitting in front of a screen. But there's another reason for my strength training too. I just want to feel like a strong woman, that when it comes to my body, I prioritize function over appearance. We women are so indoctrinated from childhood really, that our bodies are visual objects, things to be looked at. They're not. They've been lying to us all this time. It's hard to shake this thought though. Like, we're so fed with the idea that women's bodies are to look nice, not to be powerful and functional and strong. So for my self-worth, the way that I look at myself and like the way to fall in love with my body, for me, is always to focus on function and on strength. I want to be strong and robust, which is hard for me because my body type is what my physio calls lean and lanky. But I'm doing my best by, showing up consistently and lifting weights as heavy as I can bear. And my body feels great, but even more so, my mind feels fantastic. And this spills over on my diet, eating to first of all fuel my body correctly, but also to get into all of those micronutrients that will boost my mood and my sleep and my just well-being overall. It also spills over on thinking about my recovery and my sleep and my body's daily rhythm and quirks in a way that makes me very attuned to my own physical presence and experience in the world. I'm a more carnal and less intellectual being when I put health first, which of course means that when my physical and mental experience takes precedence and becomes the main focus, it pushes out a lot of the stress and negativity and worries that are connected to making work stress the center of my attention. So for this to work, to be able to keep healthy and protecting my new calm and serenity this autumn, I have no idea if it will work or if, come October, I'll be completely overwhelmed and stressed out of my senses. But the plan is to nurture this calm and this physical well-being by doing less of some things and more of others. So first of all, the things that I will be doing less of, 3 things. I will be trying to work less, significantly less. I will be putting less into the calendar, so fewer meetings, social activities, projects. And finally, and maybe most importantly, I will spend less time on my phone. I will. For 2 reasons. First of all, because it eats up actual time, hours per day that could be spent sleeping or relaxing or walking around. But secondly, and more importantly, because of what it does to my brain. It's a weird one, the phone, isn't it? And how it manages to make us both more tired and more riled up at once. Also, all this comparing ourselves to others, it's madness, no? Actively spending time on platforms telling us that our lives aren't good enough. I love my life. I honestly wouldn't change it for anything. It's perfectly fitted to me and my brain. So why should I compare to anyone else? I'm not in a race with anyone. So I'm spending less time and choosing content actively and with discretion to try to consume content that feeds my brain rather than exhausts and depresses it. Okay, so onwards to the things that I want to do more of. 2 things, sleep and relaxation. I've told you before that whenever I'm going through a stressful period, my sleep suffers. Either by waking up in the middle of the night, being unable to fall back asleep for hours, or waking up too early with a feeling of stress and excitement and I need to get going. So what happened was this summer, my sleep has started taking care of itself. Just by relaxing, and since I've been like in a sleep deficit this spring, I've started sleeping a lot, like much more than I've ever slept in my life. Sometimes 9 hours, sometimes even 10 hours. And instead of letting that stress me out, like sleeping 10 hours a night leaves you way fewer waking hours to work, of course, I've decided to be happy about this unforeseen development and be grateful that I now have the luxury of waking up rested without my heart in my throat from stress. So I've decided that for this whole autumn, I will not set any alarms and I will not judge my sleep. I will simply let it be what it wants to be. 8 hours some nights, 10 hours some nights. Also, women need much more sleep than men for recovery and metabolism and hormone production. So 10 hours isn't actually overindulgent at all. It's quite appropriate for women to sleep between 8 and 10 hours every night. That's what I've heard anyway. So I'm very much enjoying my nighttime hormone production and muscle building. Thank you very much. But how much do you usually sleep? Am I the only one clocking 10 hours some nights? Like, I've never done this before, sleeping this long, so I'm curious how unusual it is. Maybe it's super common. So about the other thing I want to do more of this autumn, relaxation. I mean that in two different ways, like both a focused type of relaxation and a lazy type. I've always been good at the focused type, you know, reading, watching a good film, taking long walks with David, cooking food, this type of relaxation that we think of as meaningful and meditative and worthwhile. So I already got that down perfectly. It's the other type, the unfocused, lazy type that I'm adding more of. You know, like staring into space, watching bad TV, like chit-chatting at the water cooler. Basically the type of relaxation that is about passing time, that doesn't lead to anything, like unfocused and lazy and delightful. So that's the plan, building muscle and reducing cortisol and stress by keeping the calendar clear, doing less work and less phone time, and more relaxation and sleeping. Whatever happens with work will happen with work. I'm trying not to care so much about these next steps and trust that I've done so much groundwork already that things can just sort of surf the wave for a while without me being hyper involved and, you know, micromanaging everything. I need a rest. I need to trust the process and let the dice fall as they may. Are you hearing this? I mean, who is this person in front of you right now? Anal, hypervigilant, control maniac Jenny Mustard saying let the dice fall as they may? I'm shocking myself. But I'm in all of 8 weeks into this new mindset, so let's see how long-lived my newfound buoyant tranquility will last. Cheer me on, will you? I feel so correctly adjusted right now, this way of living, that I don't want to ruin it by letting any stress flood in. Remind me of this whenever I next complain about being overworked and unhealthy. But anyway, enough about me. What are you thinking? What are your hopes for this autumn? Are you like me, focusing on health? Or are you taking on any new big projects or going on a magical adventure? Also, let's talk about it. Stress, cortisol, where are you at? Any other ways of dealing with it than I've mentioned today? As always, I so appreciate you sharing your thoughts with the rest of us. And of course, thank you for watching today. It's a special feeling, isn't it? The fresh, crisp, coffee-smelling new start of autumn. Best time of year, isn't it? Now, do you want to create a stunning website or launch your own blog? Squarespace has you covered with its latest innovations. First up, let's talk about their new design intelligence. Combining 20 years of design expertise with cutting-edge AI, this tool helps you unlock your creative potential, building a personalized, one-of-a-kind website that fits your needs. Squarespace also makes running an online store easier with Squarespace Payments. Onboarding is fast and you can start accepting payments in just a few minutes. Plus, it supports various popular payment options like Klarna, Apple Pay, Afterpay, and others, giving your customers payment flexibility. And for seamless social media integration, Squarespace allows you to connect your social media accounts in just a few clicks, whether you're embedding a feed or syncing your products directly to Instagram or Facebook. It's an effortless way to expand your reach and keep everything in sync. So what are you waiting for? Go get your free trial today at squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/jennymustard to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Okay, wishing you a lovely week and see you very soon. Bye bye.